What's up, everybody? I'm the one and only boy Honcho J23 of Independent Scene Podcast, and I want to welcome you guys to episode 209 of Independent Scene. We definitely got a dope show tonight. We got a dope guest in the building. He goes by the name of Blayz. He is a producer for some of your favorite local artists out here in the Carolinas doing this thing. I am definitely honored to have him back for part two. I told you guys I was bringing him back for part two because he had so much wisdom and knowledge in the first episode, and I definitely can't wait to chop it up with him again in tonight's episode. So I hope that you guys are ready. I hope that you guys tap in. I hope that you guys share the live. I hope that you guys gain some knowledge and some wisdom and some advice from this conversation that we're getting ready to have. And just, sit back and enjoy the ride. But with that being said, I am, again, your host, Honcho J23 of Independent Scene Podcast. This is episode 209, and I'm so grateful and honored to be back with you guys on tonight to give you the complete part two edition of our conversation with the one and only producer, Blayz. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get my guest Blayz in the building, and we're gonna jump right in. All right. So, let me see what's going on here, and then we're gonna get this party started. Let me see. Like I said, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me and rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? This entire journey has truly been amazing. And like I said, I definitely hope that you guys are ready. Like I said, for those of you that are new to Independent Scene Podcast, you can go and check out my YouTube podcast channel on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Independent Scene Podcast. And you can check out some of my conversations with some of your favorite artists and guests from then to now. All right, so with that being said, please welcome my guest at this time, Blayz. Let's get it. Yo, what's going on, brother?
What you do, family?
What's going on with you? How you doing, man?
Man, same shit reheated, brother. Chilling.
Most definitely. Well, first of all, let me just say I want to welcome you back for part two, man. Definitely it's an honor and pleasure to be chopping back up with you once again, my guy.
Same here, brother. Appreciate you having me, as always.
Most definitely. Well, first of all, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the fine people, man, that's tapping in, and then we're going to jump right into it.
Yes, indeed. Well, you already know, it's Blayz, producer, songwriter, activist, engineer. I mean, we wear many hats, man. So, been doing it for a little minute. So, here we are.
Most definitely. All right. Well, like I said, with that being said, definitely it's an honor to have you, man. So first things first, man. I wanna address basically what you just said. You say you wear a lot of hats, man. So I gotta ask you, first thing, starting out with all the hats that you wear, man. How do you manage it all, and how do you balance and juggle it all?
I think it's a natural progression. When you're in this business, being from where we are, we're not from a musical, music metropolis. You know what I'm saying? We kind of got to get it out the mud. It's not a LA or not a New York, not any of that. So, when we do, a lot of us have to wear many hats. You know what I mean? We have to do the producing and the engineering and the writing sometimes, and wear many hats because we just don't have the access to those, situations where we can freely. And what I mean by freely is, as far as time, money, all just go somewhere and leisurely, get somebody to produce a joint for us, write it, engineer it. Sometimes we got to do all of that. So I think for me, it was just a natural progression of, being in the business and doing so much of it and wanting it done a certain way. I just had to learn how to do things the way I wanted to the caliber that I wanted to do it. That's all.
Okay. So let me ask you. In your career, man, and in this journey that you're in and that you're on, did you ever find yourself feeling like it was gonna be like this, moving? You know, what I'm saying when you was growing up, or did you just manage one thing at a?
Definitely not. I'm from a small town called Hosky, North Carolina, and there was no way in the world, like where I'm from. I always knew that me personally, that I was bigger and than where I was from. But man, I'm so blessed. To be able to say that I have worked with and accessed some of the people I grew up idolizing, I never in a million years would have ever thought that I would be able to. That would be accessible to me. Not from a Hosky, because there is no way. We wouldn't have we don't have any way to access that. We wouldn't have any way to think that we could access it. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't know, let's say, a Big Daddy Kane's information or any of his people to get to work with him. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, me getting out of the house, and that's what I really jump into. Maybe one of the questions that you asked at the end. One thing that I really recommend everybody to do, and that's in life, and then you got to really move around. You got to move around, and you got to experience different things. A lot of times our horizons are based, or our expectations are based on our surroundings and where we've been. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought Myrtle Beach was dope until I went to Ibiza, Spain. You know what I'm saying? I thought I had seen, you know, I seen some 8-9 bras, and I was pretty impressed with them when I seen once they put on their clothes and makeup, they became 10s. But then I've seen some 20s wake up like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I mean that, I just say that to say you got to move around. You got to really get out and see some things, take those trips, travel and see things, you know, see some different things, man, because it's a whole different world out here. And it's a whole lot of world out here. So you really got to go and make some moves and get around some different people and get around, expose yourself to some different things, man, so that you will have a broad scope of what to expect out here. And that's just not just in this business, but that's in life in general.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this. So, you know, you spoke about, you know, traveling the world and going different places, man. You know, what is it like when you know, to have those moments where you can travel and can go different places and being able to connect with, you know, other people that may be in the same field as you? Like, how does that feel for you?
I mean, it's just a blessing. That's all I can say, man. It's just a blessing. There's a saying that the two most important times in your life is your birth, you know, being born, and then when you find out why. So, you know, all of my travels and all of my journeys, I believe, have been experiences and my steps have kind of been ordered into putting me into the places that I needed to be to make my mark on the world. You know what I'm saying? You just have to, everything about the cost of living is to be able to inspire and be able to help people. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we understand that enough. I think we take too much for granted in what we believe this life is supposed to bring to us, but really it's what we're supposed to bring to this life. You know what I'm saying? We're not put here to receive. We're really put here to give. So, you know, everything that we do has to, you know, it has to encompass that in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? It's like right now, we know the world going to hell in a handbag, and a lot of that is because of the selfish agenda. There was a whole lot of individuality and personal feelings in the greater good and the bigger pictures. You know what I'm saying? So we have to remove ourselves away from that and get back to the bigger picture and the greater good. That could be God or Allah for people, or that can just be a mission that's greater than ourselves, because you have to find a way to take yourself out of the picture to really make a real difference.
Okay. Okay. So when you set aboard this mission to, you know, do the things that you do, you know, I gotta ask, and I think I probably asked before, but for you and for your own perspective, what has been one of the things that you've learned about being in this field and being in this industry that has kept you, you know what I'm saying, on the straight and narrow, that has kept you driven the way that you are?
I think I have a love for it. I was born, I think me and my man Manny Manifest. Manny were talking. We were on a panel in Kinston, Ski Money, and he did a really dope seminar with a lot of tastemakers and industry heads. I believe every artist should have been at. And he asked me a real a question. He was like, "Bro, you still love it?" And I said, "I definitely do. You know, it's definitely a love for it, and I was born into that love. I think that love gets tainted with all of the shenanigans and other things, and you know, the things that you have to go through in the business. But I still love being behind these boards, man. I still love touching them keys. I still love making people feel what I'm able to bring to the table. I love the fact that I can make people still, you know, feel a type of way with the music and the things that I do. I mean, and I'm appreciative, man. That's all I can say. I'm definitely appreciative and humble. I'm around so many great people that I believe that's, you know, steel sharp steel. So I got to shout out all of the people that I've been with that got me started, that kept me motivated, and kept me going over the years. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's just all in the plan, I believe. You know what I'm saying? The only person that can stand in your way is you. My pops told me one day, he took me in the mirror and he said, you know, you're looking at the only person that can keep what God has for you from yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you keep that rascal out your way, you'll move mountains. So, you know, a lot of us spend a lot of years being in our own way, but at the same time, you know, waking up every day, the opportunities to be able to do different things. You just got to maximize those opportunities. Because I mean, you know, it's getting bad out here, man. And you know, time is the most it's the most precious. Like it is the only thing that, as much as you gain, at the same time you lose. At the
Right.
same moment you experience something, that experience becomes a memory at the same time. So time is very precious, and you got to really we got to keep keep in mind that it's too precious to waste on frivolities and everything. We got to make every second count.
Most definitely got to make time because that's where, as they say again, that's where that's where it all starts. So now, allow me to ask this question because when it comes to artists, we have so many artists now who are really, trying to chase the dream, wanting to chase the dream. But then we also have artists that tend to fall back or fall out of the music realm, all because of whatever the reason may be. Why do you feel like there is so much of that, happening in America? Why are there artists, what I'm saying, deciding to want to back out now compared to sticking to it and seeing it through?
Well, I think that that's just it. You know, you're saying what it is. They do not want to. Unfortunately, because it's been made so accessible. Um, Back in the day, it wasn't everybody doing music. It wasn't everybody doing production. It wasn't everybody, doing, just this craft was something to be respected and revered, and it wasn't easy. So you really had to work and put the work in. They have dumbed so much down to where you can literally just mumble some words and get put on, and you can make beats on your phone, and you can do a lot of things that give you access to to this craft. And I mean, I'm not hating on technology, but it relieves people. It just to me, it's created a lazy environment, and an environment where it is really you really it's what they, I guess what they call it's sold some wolf tickets about how to really be successful in this business.
Right.
So and I hate it, man, because you really have to be diligent, and you really have to be motivated, and you really have to be disciplined in this business. It's not a
Right.
get up and, okay, I got a nice record, I got a dope little jingle or whatever, I'm gonna make the world feel me. This is gonna be dope. Because I hear that all the time. I literally, even to this day, as long as I've been in, I hear people coming in and say, "Bro, I got the next hit. Play this hit for me right here. This can really get me on. We out of here." Man, that's retarded. It's
Right.
crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and it's just birthed a lazy group of people to me.
Okay. 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 So now I wanna kind of switch gears because I remember in our first conversation, you talk about family, that being your kids and things of that nature. With your kids chasing this dream of being in the music realm, what are some of the things that you're teaching them and they're learning from you, to continue to progress and strive, what I'm saying, to be the best that they can be in this industry?
Um, well, I only have one out of my four. I only have one that is pursuing music. And what's the irony in Deuce pursuing music is he never wanted to do music. He never wanted to do music. I remember he would literally have a fit when he would come to spend time with me, because he would always say, "I'm gonna be in there. They ain't gonna do nothing with me. We're gonna be in the studio, whatever." Now, as everybody knows, I can't get him out of the studio. I got to make him go home, take a shower. I got to make him go home. But he's put a lot of work in, and he's very dope. His mother is an incredible artist. He got it from both sides, of 2 generations, 3 generations. My family is musical. His granddad, his mom's mom, they both actively, were artists and did things my pops in the industry or whatever. So he was born into it. He really didn't have a choice. His mom was pregnant in here singing, working on her projects. So um, he never really pursued it. Jalen's been a straight A student, and he was an athlete. He could do pretty much anything he wanted to do. Musically, he started. I started becoming aware of his talents through his mom. His mom was like, you know, Jalen got some hot beats, and he had an artist in Indian Trail named Unknown, who's really, really dope. And they started doing a lot of work together, developed their own little dirty room recording situation. And they started making some noise in what they call the trails. They call it Indian Trail. So Dirty Rooms ended up recording a lot of artists out there, still do. So I started taking a listen. I was more impressed with his knowledge of music coming up though, because once I started getting into, I'm just not up on the new wave in no way, shape, or form. Not the content, not the delivery, the lyricism. I'm not on none of it. So if I had an opportunity to work with somebody, I would call him and be like, "Yo, who is this? Hey son, who is this? Who is this?" And he would give me like the rundown. Oh, dad, he up under CMG. He with Yo Gotti and them, or he's with this person, that person. Oh yeah, he under such and such and such and such. But he was doing that for a while. So just to see what he's doing, I just want to kind of direct his path into, you know, a little more, just a little less broader scope, and get him focused on certain things as an artist. Now, production wise, I mean, he can do pretty much anything he wants to do. You know what I'm saying? So I still haven't really put my hands on what he's doing, but he's worked with so many people. He's got placements, and you know, he's put out like 3 or 4 projects himself. But I'm kind of watching still. I'm still waiting to see how he's gonna take this all in. And so far so good. So, but you know, I'm gonna press the button on him soon. You know, and I'm gonna make sure he gets in with a lot of my peers and whatever, and make sure his path is as it should be, because he definitely has the talent. So to answer your question, man, I try to lead by example. I try to let them see me work. They all see me work or whatever. And like I said, Deuce is the only one who is literally following what I would say is my footsteps. But he's on his own way. So
Okay.
just making sure, you know, he has all the nutrients and, you know, and everything to really be successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel that. I feel that. So let me ask you, because and I think, you know, a lot of times, you know, too, it tends to happen is, you know, when you stepping into this industry, you know, of course, you know, you got people that tend to think, oh, this is gonna be easy. This is gonna be something that I can just, you know, fly straight to the top. But unfortunately, you know, as they say, you got to put the work in. So, do you feel like, you know, artists that come into this, you know, do you feel like that the harder you go in this industry, the more and more that people will begin to notice and see you? Or do you feel like it's one of those things where, you know, you don't necessarily have to be seen, but the more work that you put in, the more the more the work will speak for itself?
Yeah, I mean, you know, diligence has its own reward. So, you know, anybody who puts in work is going to get something out of it. Hell, a serial killer, if he's, you know, if he's amassing bodies, if his goal is to get bodies and he's killing a bunch of folks, he's successful at what he's trying to do. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's like you definitely have to put the work in, but I think also you have to really study the craft and exactly what are you trying to do. You know, I know people say they want to get into the game, but when people come together, and I hear a lot of people say we need to do this and do that. Does anybody ever come with a plan to say, okay, this is the goal. This is how we work to achieve these goals? Because it's a whole lot of treadmill, what we call it on the treadmill. That means, you know, whole lot of movement, but not no moving. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like you
Right.
got the treadmill on high on the incline, running and you ain't going nowhere. So
Okay.
I think that's what happens a lot. I think you have to really study what it is you're trying to do, study the business. People think you can do this without a budget. I'm not saying you can't do it, but that means you got to be a deuce and have a daddy that's got a studio that he use, have uncles to get beats and stuff like that, you know. And then you got the other side of that where marketing promotion comes in, where it seems like all artists fall short. It takes hundreds of thousands of dollars, man, to break a real record to get you a national buzz, and that's on a small end. Now, when we speak breaking records, I'm talking from an industry standpoint, and not even a really industry standpoint. I'm talking about from a independent standpoint that's trying to make an industry move. Now, having your record broke in a club, that's just having your record played in a club. It's not a really breaking a record. About when a lot of people like myself talking about breaking records, they're not talking about a couple of DJs playing in your club for a night.
Okay.
That's not breaking a record. That's just getting your record played. Breaking a record is when your record gains traction in multiple places.
Okay.
You understand what
Okay.
I'm saying? So,
Okay.
and that takes money and it takes know-how, because part of breaking records is once you go and have a record, have your record spun, like if it gets radio traction or whatever, you need to go there and kiss the babies. You know what I'm saying? That takes money to travel. It's no way around getting out of a budget these days, because you have to move around. And if it's just gas money, that shit hides a giraffe ass.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even if
Right.
it's just gas money, you have to have a budget and something allotted for, you know, every Christmas. People, and this is one thing that people don't plan to do. People plan for Christmas, they plan to buy a car, they plan to buy a house. This is what you feel, this is what it's supposed to be, the avenue which you are going to provide all those things for yourself. But nobody plans to do it. You just think, of course, this is going to happen. It's just like, you know, it's just I don't understand that mentality. But that's plagues a lot of artists. You know, this is something you need to plan for. You need to study, you need to plan, and you need to execute.
Right. Right.
And you need to be disciplined enough to stay on the track. But that's that a lot of the people that's falling out, man, is giving up is those are people to me that don't really want it. Those are people that are not, they like the fad in it. But you know, when you love this, man, you'll be 100 still trying to make it. You know, if artistry was never what I wanted to do. You know, after I saw that, you know, your time literally had to be devoted to other people. You know what I'm saying? Because as an artist, you are people's champ. You work for you work for the people.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, you got to literally be on call for the people at all times if you want to get your music, you know, if you want to create a fan base.
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
when I'm ready to shut down, I'm shutting down. You know, so I never had what I knew it was going to take, or what it takes to be an artist. And a lot of people don't have it. You know, if you're not making, artistry is about doing everything. That's one thing that Tony Neal said at the seminar that we were on in Kinston. He said, they asked, if you had to give an artist the tools, like what would you tell them to do? And he said, do everything.
Mm-hmm.
As an artist, you have to do everything. You got to be on the blogs. You got to be on your Instagram. You got to be on your Twitter. You got to be on your Facebook. You got to be in the studio. You got to be at the clubs. You got to do it all. You
Right.
have to do it all. You know what I'm saying? There's no one way. Every way is how you make it.
Right.
Every way is how you make it.
Right.
Literally at this day and time, you got access to the internet. If you ain't making, you say you want to make it, but if I don't know who you are, if you ain't, sometimes we get tired of posts. But I understand it now when it comes to artistry. You know, somebody might post, you know, 2-3 times a day. You ain't trying to be no artist.
Right.
I seen mediocre artists posting 20-30 times a day.
Right.
Putting videos out every day. I think that's what they saying is as how Young Boy got so popping. Like he was putting something up every day.
Mm-hmm.
He was interacting every day. He was dropping something every day. But if this is what your job is, this is just what it calls for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't half-ass go to work and expect to get a good paycheck.
Right. 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 I agree. I definitely agree. So to that point, so let me ask you this. So what would you consider to be and I don't want to use the word typical, but I got to use it for this what I'm trying to say. But what would you say is the typical budget for an up and coming artist that's trying to get into this form?
Man, I mean, if you're talking about trying to do it the right way, and I mean what I mean by the right way is getting with producers or getting with a producer. That's one thing I do recommend. I do recommend you trying to develop as much of your sound as you can on your own. That way, when you come into a studio or you come with somebody reputable, you can be able to describe your sound and what it is that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So you know you have established as much of your artistry as your own. Like you're not trying to learn how to rap. You're not trying to do it. Basically, when you come to the studio, you just need beats. I'm gonna spit this to you, and I just need, you just need an orchestrator. So I would definitely recommend a producer, somebody that you're able to lock in with, that understands and sees a vision and can give you, those soundtracks that you need to catapult you to the right. That's in a perfect world. But if not, then you're gonna need a budget for that.
Okay.
You're gonna need a budget for studio time. You're gonna need a budget for mixing and mastering. All of those are different. People come to the studio. Does that include mixing? No, you're recording. That don't include mixing.
Right.
And it doesn't include mastering. And that's the problem. A lot of us, being that, once again, you say being that we have to do a lot of things. A lot of things we take on jobs that we really can't do well. You know what I'm saying? And then we tell people that, okay, y'all master for you, whatever, for this, that, and the third. And that's not real mastering. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with somebody, if somebody records and, you know, mixes and masters all in the same, you know, that probably ain't, you know, it's not the kind of mastering that's done at major studios and whatever, you know. You know, you have to have a budget for all of that, man. And man, I'm gonna tell you, I would start with one song professionally done.
Okay.
From video to everything, from video to putting it out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I would say low ball. This is low ball. I would say about 5 racks, and that's low ball. That's about a little. That's a little from your beat, getting your beat, and that's finding a producer who ain't gonna hit you in the head. You know, maybe your beat is about 500, maybe no more than 1,000.
Okay.
You know, your studio time, mixing and mastering shouldn't run you no more than 1,000, maybe 15, maybe 15 to 2,000 at the most. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then you got to get your artwork done, and then you got to get your visual shot. You know what I'm saying? 5,000 is a good ballpark to have you something that's really competitive with what's going on, and that has nothing to do with your marketing. Nothing. That's just to get you something from your music to your visual, from your actual track to your visual, something that you can really start getting out here and touching and you know, accessing some real avenues. Now, do people do it for less? Of course they do. You know what I'm saying? Does it last? I don't know. Because once again, if you have the work ethic, you can make anything work.
Right.
But for you to have some real good quality stuff where you, and I'm talking about where you're competing with, because nobody around here is supposed to be a competition.
Right.
No one.
Right.
No one.
Right.
Your competition is supposed to be the NBA young boys, the whoever is popping, whoever you look to, whoever your idols are. That's really who you're supposed to be. That's your competition. So those are the people that you're going to supposed to be aspiring to be able. Your music's supposed to be able to play right behind them. Because at some point when you deal with professional DJs and other things, you know, they have a certain brand that they trying to keep up to. So they're not gonna want to. You can't convince them to play one of your unmixed records that you believe is dope just because it's hot, when he got that Master Fire Chris stuff coming from Drake and everybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all this stuff got to be taken into consideration, man.
Most definitely. I definitely appreciate you speaking on that, because I feel like a lot of artists need to know, you know, what it takes, not just from the budgeting standpoint, but from all aspects on how to really, as I say, master the craft. Because like I said, this is a craft, you know, and the more the artists know these things, the more better off things will become for them and be better off for them. So now I wanna ask this. So describe the plan process, because you spoke about, you know what I'm saying, know how, you know, planning and things like that. What would be the plan, you know what I'm saying, stepping into the music arena? Like what are the plan and the steps that people have to take to see to it that, you know what I'm saying, that they're going in the right direction?
I mean, I really, you know, I'm not a label, and I mean, I have a label, but at the same time, I know how much from the budget aspect of it and from the you know, the tedious nature, it's not something that I really want to embark in. You know, myself, I can be honest and say that, like, it takes a lot to really promote and have an artist. However, if I had an artist right now who say didn't have anything, like 100% nothing, but he or she was talented as all get out, my first thing would be to sit down with them to find out what sound that we could create so that we could start getting some music, you know, situated. We start developing the artist. You know, I would start developing me, creating the whole artist image, from the sound, from the look, from the message that we want to create, from everything. You know, it starts with that too, because it's a lot of artists who jump around. You know, they jump around in genres when they think that one thing don't work, because they're not putting the time and energy and effort into it. You know, and that's another thing. Some people, you know, back in the day, it's some records that broke, and when we heard the single, once it got popping and you heard the story, it was like, man, this came out 3 years ago.
Right.
Before I even, you know, singles are made. You gotta work those things. You know, it's people dropping a new single every day, and people are just left with that. You know, yeah, it's content, but it also is not leaving any room for somebody to get used to and for you to establish, you know, any type of sound. You jumping all over and doing, you know, after you in a week you got 3 or 4 different, 5 different records popping.
Right.
No visual, you ain't working, you just dropping content, but you're not working the record. You
Right.
gotta work the record. You gotta build it, you gotta build, you know. Listen to how many times we see Money Long. It's so many jokes about Money Long, hours and hours. They say, yeah, that song played for hours and hours. You hear it 25 times a day.
Right.
So yeah, we tired of it, but that record is still doing numbers. And it's gonna
Right.
keep doing numbers because it's still being worked. It's still being, you know, it's still popping everywhere. It's on TikTok, it's everywhere. So, you know, once we have some music, then it would be time for us to, you know, figure out a marketing plan. What strategy we're gonna go? We're gonna go to the club DJs. You know, we're gonna do some groundwork. We're gonna release, you know, how we're gonna release it. You know what I'm saying? With the platforms that we have access to, we're gonna do a distro kid. We're gonna, you know, develop our own website. For me, I would start early with, you know, making sure that most things, everything is self-contained, which means like we definitely need a website. An artist without a website is like a, you know, a worker with no job address. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Most
you
definitely.
just showing up where at everybody else's address and working. You have to have your own, and nobody in the industry is gonna really take you seriously unless you have a website. You know, those things are important. So,
Right.
and that's also how you start building your own personal fan base. J. Cole talked about it. He said, you know, one by one, he built his fan base as time went on. Once he started dropping little mixtapes, then he started getting with on little college tours. Then by the time he did this, that, the third, and after a while, by the time his album he secured a deal, he had his own little cult following.
Right. Right.
So, you know, it's all in, man. It's all in your discipline, and it's all in how bad you want it and what you're gonna do to get it. You know what I'm saying? So, perfect example. Okay, North Carolina, music is that's not our thing. You know, I think Carolina's our top things is textiles, tobacco, coffee, things like that. Music is not one of them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We don't have anybody here. There isn't a Arista Records here or a, you know, whoever here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we go outside because the market isn't here, but we can create it. It's just like, who's going to be responsible for creating a market that doesn't exist?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, who has done it to the point where have taken a record from nothing to the top of the charts? Who's done
Right.
it?
Right.
It's very, very few people. And those people that have done it have pretty much, you know, I'm not going to say kept that knowledge for themselves, but they know how hard it was to do it. And probably a lot of them have not, and some of them have not set up an entity where they're willing to do it. They're still trying to maybe even do it for themselves, or don't really have the budget to really take on a label where they can just bring everybody through. Because, man, this is not for the weary. You know, it's not for the weary financially, and it's not for the weary, you know, with no stamina. You know, if you don't have the physical wherewithal and the financial wherewithal, and then I'm not saying that it's got to be hell bent on money, but if you don't have the budget, then that means you got to work 20 times as hard as the people that have the budget.
Right. Right. Right.
So, and then the people with I'm gonna tell you how you know it's not money. You know, Floyd Mayweather has a label, right?
Right.
How many artists have popped off Floyd Mayweather label?
Wow. I see where you're going with that.
Any
Wow.
it's several major, you know, athletes that have labels. So you
Right.
still have to have a little bit of know-how.
Right.
Money it's not just about money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you
Right.
talking about people that got access to everybody. This man could say to Jay-Z, hey man, hop on my artist track, or could pay him like it ain't nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Roy Jones, the list goes on. A lot of
Right.
these artists have labels. I mean, we got a couple of labels in North Carolina, cats with labels. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they're not doing nothing. Nothing.
Right.
So, you know, you still have to have the know-how. You still have to, and that's an independent artist. That's one of the things that you definitely have to know. We don't have the money to waste. So you definitely have to know where to put your money at as an independent artist, because it don't grow on trees for you. A lot of people are sometimes they taking their rent money and all other kind of things to invest in themselves, and which is noble, but at the same time, you don't want to pay for a video when you haven't when you want to nickel and dime your mixing and production and your music. You don't want to pay your producer. I've literally had somebody to say, man, bro, Dad, can you show me a little love on the, I ain't really got no money for the track, man, because I'm going to spend it all on the video. I'm going to go hard with the video and try to sell me on the fact that, oh, I'm going to push the video and you going to, because you did the beat, you know, it's going to be your beat on everywhere.
Right.
Man, listen, you ain't busted grape in a food fight in this music stuff. It's definitely no, and I know you don't know what you're doing. It's definitely no way that I'm putting my, whatever you trying to sell me on in your hands to do anything. Especially when you already trying to skip steps. There is no skipping. Stop people. That's the biggest thing about new artists. There is no skipping. You can't. You want to be you know, a celebrity. You can skip. That's gonna take you. You know, you're a hood star. You'll be a celebrity. Just here today, going tomorrow. You want to be a superstar. That's over time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's over time. We remember half of these one-hit wonders or whatever, these new what I call internet superstars, internet celebrities. Here today, gone tomorrow. They pop up every day and then they gone in a couple of, you know, and it's still the same people that are putting points on the board and have been putting points on the board for years. They're still doing it. The Drakes are still at the top of the charts. Hell, you can even go further back. The Big Daddy Kanes, the Dougie Fresh, they still recording, they still performing, they still getting booked for shows. You know, you ain't gonna see a young boy, NBA young boy and a Kodak Black reunion in 20 years.
Right.
Probably the nigga's gonna be dead, unfortunately, or in jail. It's unfortunate, but you know, that's the kind of lifestyle. Hopefully not, but I'm just saying, I don't believe you're gonna see that type of, you know, you ain't gonna see them reunions in 20 years.
Most definitely, ladies and gentlemen. I definitely feel that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just now joined us, we are talking with producer Mike Blayz. I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation. Definitely, you know what I'm saying. We see you guys tapping in with us, and we definitely appreciate it. So let me ask this question too. When it comes to storytelling, you know, you have a lot of artists that know how to storytell. What is your thoughts on the storytelling in today's hip hop music?
I mean, it's if artist has that talent, you know, there are a lot of artists who content is important to me because I do believe that you have, there's power in the tongue. So I just put a post up the other day. I have a big problem with a lot of the powers that be, or a lot of the OGs saying, you know, let the kids do their thing or whatever. I think that right now, I think we can all agree that hip hop or rap has been the center place for more deaths in the last 5 years than in the whole almost 50 years it's been in existence.
Right.
I think that's a problem. Most of the music is encompassed with drugs, death, killing, you know, literally, and being a part of a nonprofit organization and being in Durham, one of the worst gang-infested cities right now. I have unfortunately witnessed, and being on both sides, like I literally have recorded and had relationships with people who killed the people that I knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people that died that I knew, and I knew the people that killed them. So, and it's just a war zone, and it's just a sad time for the youth, man. And I don't know what has happened, where it has been divided at. I do kind of know, but I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but the bottom line is, I just think it's the content right now is creating more harm than good. It's causing more harm than good. And it's giving such a stench. It's so much of it that is creating such a stench in the world right now. Like, you know, music is literally, you know, it's artists that I'm appreciative, and it's a blessing that these artists have access to a platform that they probably would never otherwise have made it out the hood to be able to provide for their families in such a way. But just to have that platform and to die or go to jail. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So and then you have to realize too that they're actually talking about being able to use people. I know one of my partners, he just went to jail. His name is Bandana Bonds. They had him everything, all the evidence they had on him was speculative. But he got a life sentence from his rap lyrics. Yeah, that's a true story. He got hopefully his appeal will will do some things, but they literally, and he came and after he was convicted, he went on live. He sent everybody a message and let artists know. He said they are using your lyrics. They are using what you do, because now it's automatically we have this air about it that if you have to be real, quote unquote. So if you're not really doing it in the life, you shouldn't be rapping about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that's truly the case, then what you're doing by rapping about it is snitching on yourself.
Right. Right.
Period.
Right.
There is no two ways about it. But
right.
The people that talk about, but these same people who rap about the dirt and the things that they're doing, be somewhere sitting in jail talking about somebody snitching. Yeah, you.
Wow.
You did it.
Wow.
You snitched on yourself. So, and it's coming out that, the problem that I have with it, if they're actually going to use these lyrics, then that means everybody becomes an accomplice. Everybody becomes an accessory. The internet, the labels, nobody gonna put the labels on the stand. How do the people get into the lyrics? So
right.
That's how you know it's a setup. You know it's a setup. You know it's designed for you to get caught up. Wow. If they can convict Young Thug off of his music lyrics,
right,
and his label is not on the stand, his Instagram ain't on the stand, and all these other platforms that funnel the lyrics to the people, then you know what it is.
Right.
So, and that's the thing. I just think, a lot of cats where they want to take up be able to take up rapping and, doing music or whatever, but it's not just rapping no more. You really have a part of an agenda to assassinate, who you are, the culture. There's people out there who are giving you a platform that you can succumb from.
Most definitely.
For real. So we got to take a lot of that into consideration, man, when we're doing it. And there is no such thing. Somebody is like, music has elevated or whatever. I don't understand how you use elevating and dumbing down in the same sentence. So if it's elevated, then how is it dumbed down?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no more hip hop quotables. Somebody say ain't no more hip hop quotables, hip hop mumbables now.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what somebody's saying.
Right. Right.
We actually have a genre called mumble rap.
Right.
But we talking about how far music has come. Right. We just created a bunch of ignorant people, man. And it's just breeding into, because I really can't understand. Ain't nobody on beat no more. Ain't nobody saying nothing no more. Literally mumble. Right. And and it's like, and I know how I know it's not intentional is because I'll nudge somebody. I have a rapper to come in all off beat. I nudge him to the right, and he think it's on beat. So I know you're not doing it intentionally. You just don't, you don't know how to ride a beat. But when you hear it right, it sounds right to you. Mm-hmm. But I've seen on both sides of the coin, so I really can't say that. I've seen people be off and they know it's off, and but they recite it off. Right. So, I don't really have I just know it ain't my cup of tea, bro. And I just I don't like to have those references when it comes to our culture, because people use that against us. That's how a lot of that stuff that we're saying, a lot of that stuff, how we portray ourselves in these videos and on record, that's how a lot of times that we get that they can mercilessly kill us and it be justified. Wow. By the way we, you know what I'm saying? So all of those things had to be taken in consideration. It's happened more than one. Now you do know that these people have no respect for us and for our culture and for how we do. So we have to have a little bit more respect for ourselves. Because that's all they showing. I can imagine when the white boy that went in there and killed all them black people. I can imagine him seeing his family showing him about 10 videos of merciless killing, where these little kids is blowing each other's heads off. and them and his parents saying, see that those are the kind of people that's going to take over the world. You know, that's the conditioning. That's the conditioning. So, you know, and nobody's really speaking on that. And I just got a problem with the older, you know, the older heads. Like we can make money and capitalize off it. And I can't be a part of really, you know, I do when it comes to being in the studio because I run a business. Of course, I can't I don't get the opportunity to turn it away to somebody that's coming to record because I do have a recording studio. But very seldom will I produce someone who's talking that bullshit on beats.
Right.
Because it's 100 million, nigga. You can get produced by 100 million other producers. I don't have to bother with that.
Right.
So I take on projects that really gonna make me feel like I'm making it, you know, that we're really putting some decent music out here or whatever. And I'm challenging myself in my craft before I even take on doing beats really for artists anymore.
Okay. I feel that. Wow, such a very powerful response, man. Definitely, you know, and again, this is artists. If you're in here, this is what y'all, you know, what I'm saying, this is what, you know. I hope you guys are taking this and jotting this down because this is definitely needed right now. All right, so I want to get your thoughts on these particular artists. You know, now stepping outside of the local aspect of artists, but when it comes to entertainment, you know, we hear it all the time. You know, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. You know, first of all, let me get your thoughts on the Kendrick Lamar's new album, and what were your thoughts on his new album?
I only heard bits and pieces of it, but Kendrick Lamar is really dope. Kendrick Lamar has I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think that it's so much garbage out that people giving a lot of mediocre albums, you know, more praise. It's not as praiseworthy if it was more dope material circulating. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people get. I mean, a perfect example is I remember when not like Nas albums, you know, his last two albums, everybody told me how dope they were. But if it comes out after Illmatic, is it just as dope?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If it comes out after Godsend, these albums, could they stand up? You know, and this is at this point in time. So when it comes to somebody like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, rapping is never gonna be an issue for them.
Right.
Them boys they can rap. They
right.
are MCs, you know, probably, and for the newer generation, they gonna be the Jay-Z's and the, you know, the Big Daddy Kanes or whoever, all of that. So, you know, they up there.
Right.
So I love J. Cole and how he has I just like his story because he stuck to his guns and when he did conform, he conformed in his own way. And kind of Kendrick too, because Kendrick was the squad he was from in Cali. It was other cats that was more in the forefront than he was at first. You know, I guess maybe it was because of he was maybe too lyrical or whatever. So I can admire both of them for really sticking to their guns and bringing people to their level and not conforming. You know what I'm saying? Because there is the reward in that. Those are the people that become superstars.
Right.
They become legends. They become icons because their fan base is organic.
Right.
Individuality is still an artist's most important attribute because it's the one thing that identifies you, separates you from anything else. When you say this is I don't care if you jumping off of, you know, fences when you rap. If you're the only one doing it, if somebody likes that, they know where to get it from. Ain't no traffic in your own lane. That's what people say.
Right.
So once you have established a fan base, it may take you longer, but you know, a true fan base is people that, you know, that have sewn you into their life. You have become interwoven into the fabric of their very being. Right. That's what creates fanatics. You know what I'm saying? Right. So these people, by your music, they have based a lot of things like their lives. Man, it's been people who have named their kids after artists. Right. Their kids after artist songs. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So music it definitely can move mountains. It definitely can inspire. And it definitely can motivate. So, but with that inspiration comes a cost. Right. You know understand? And I think, you know, it's not enough of us thinking about the collateral damage we do with the content that we putting out.
Right, right,
You understand
right.
what I'm saying? So that's just really it for me, man. It's just, you know, Kendrick and J. Cole, I definitely applaud them. I would just wish it was more of them around, you know,
Right.
or I wish it was more of them getting the kind of push of that. I mean, I like what J. Cole is doing all the way around the board, man. His artist content, what he's doing with the Dreamville Fest. Dude is he's definitely to be saluted, bro. He's definitely be commended. Definitely.
Most definitely, most
Yeah.
definitely. Now, I want to once again tap back into the loyal, you know, the loyal and the local and independent artists, you know, and it's not so much to try to compare, but in your eyes, when you got artists that come to you and that wants to work with you and put out their music and their style, do you see any of these artists potentially kind of being on the levels of a J. Cole or a Kendrick Lamar or some of the greats out here?
Man, Carolina is the melting pot for talent. We are the melting pot for greatness. We just don't have. Once again, like I said, it's just not. It's the industry is the wheel that generates the money. So a lot of artists have to pay to go to work. Like a lot of promoters charge artists. They don't pay artists. So if you got to pay to go to work, you're hustling backwards anyway.
Right.
So I actually I'm getting with some of my people, man, and I want to bring a lot of the artists with promoters. I would love to get. I already have a few in line, and I want to get a few more artists. And I want artists to hear it from the promoter's mouth why they would rather pay hundreds, you know, thousands of dollars for, you know, these other artists to come through who have a fan base. And I'm actually saying why, but why they won't invest in an artist who has, because there are some artists here who put in some work. There are some artists who put in some work, but I just would love to have that narrative from the artist to the promoters, because I think the promoters need to understand that they, you know, these artists that they're paying have done the work.
Right.
You know, they're going to bring a crowd, or they're supposed to. Now, some promoters they've lost their shirts off of major artists too.
Right.
So a cheaper investment would be for a local artist that's got a little fan base or whatever, and they can get out here and grind and bring people. Because if you tell me you will hit, all these artists talking about they got hit records, and you can't do a show for 10 people show up, but you don't have no hit record, or you're not an artist that has, you know, that's just the thing. That's the same way as artists. Somebody will always come up to me and be like, you know, should I get, this person said they could manage me, this person said they could do this person said they could do that, but I got to sign this contract. It's 6 words that artists need to ask anybody who says they can do something for them. 6. Who have you done it for?
Okay.
That's it. That's it. I mean, that solves any problem that from anybody. That's in life or anything. If somebody tell you that they can put you in a platform that you put you where you need to be, then they have to have done it for somebody else.
Right.
And you don't got to. It don't have to be several people. It can just be one person. Oh no, I took him from the basement to the top of the charts. If that's what they can do for you, who else have you done it for?
Right. Right.
Otherwise you're just a guinea pig.
Right. Wow.
So, you know, and if you're guinea pigging, everybody is rolling the dice. So I shouldn't have to sign my life with some exclusive contract or anything else, or ask you for all of these perks when we both you trying to see if you can do it, and I'm trying to see if you can do it for me.
Right.
So I'm with it, but you know, even swap ain't no swim, no fair exchange ain't no robbery.
Right. Right.
But you know, it's just so much shenanigans and BS, man, that come with this game that that's why, you know, I stay in the house, man. I stay on my island, and you know, we invest in things and we do things to push the culture forward, man. But some conversations I won't even have anymore.
Right. Right.
It's so ridiculous, and it's just so, you know,
it's time consuming in a way,
man. And we just don't have it to waste, man. We just don't have it to waste.
Right.
We don't have it to waste.
Right.
Period.
Right. I feel that. I definitely feel that wholeheartedly. All right. So my last thing I wanna tap into, because again, I have truly been enjoying all of this and I've been soaking up all this knowledge you've been giving us, man. I definitely appreciate you once again. You know, so you know, to close the thing, my final thing I want to ask, man, is, you know, what is your hope and your vision for the rest of 2022 as it relates to artists you know what I'm saying, continuing to push the agenda to, you know what I'm saying, in this music arena?
Man, I would love to get with a few. I would love for, or to get with, or a few of my partners, man, and really and dope tastemakers. I would love, and DJs. I would love for it to be an artist that everybody decides that this is the next guy. And I mean, I would love to see everybody push an artist all the way to the top. And I'm talking about from the, you know, from the promoters. We need a promoter that's not afraid to invest in an artist that's doing the work. You know, we need some venues. We need some DJs. We need, you know, some media people, and put something together where we actually invent the wheel for independent artists in Carolina without going anywhere else. We literally have what we need right here. I would love to get, because it's here.
Right.
The people that are able to do it with the connections of everybody, it's just finding somebody worthy and that's willing to work. Because, you know, a lot of these, there was a meme that goes, there was somebody who said, Dad, you charging me this much for, and it only took you a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You're not charging me. You're not being charged for the couple of minutes it took me. You're being charged for the years it took me to do it in a couple of minutes.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of these relationships that a lot of the tastemakers have invested in. They are not willing to waste it on people that they're not sure about.
Right.
So I would love for someone to be worthy of everybody pulling out the stops to make an artist go where they need to go.
Most definitely.
And I would love for an artist, you know, like I said, love for an artist to be worthy of everybody, but I would love for everybody to really rally behind an artist that is worthy. But it's just about finding an artist and finding and convincing people that the artist is worthy too. But the people that are able to do some things, we have enough to where we can create the labels here. It can be a version, and I even like what what Arnold and them is doing with I think it's SCMG in Charlotte. You know, I think they might be the closest right now to being a Charlotte conglomerate that is really putting points on the board as far as a label. It may be more, I just don't know any. I mean, of course they have some, you know, one of the biggest artists in the world. So, and that's right in North Carolina. So you got to salute that.
Most definitely.
So, so I would love to see more of that, man. I would love to see these artists who are really you know, have the talent and are investing in themselves and doing the right things. I would love to see that treadmill get slowed down and them to actually start moving. You know, I'd love to see that happen. I would love for you know, just some of these artists to really take their craft seriously and take themselves seriously and take the content that they're creating seriously. Put some different stuff out here, man. You know, let's create a different vibe. You know what I'm saying? Let's create a different aura. Because right now it's, you know, killing, dying, getting high, prison. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
We need to create a different narrative. Period.
That part. And with that being said, you know what I'm saying, brother, I am truly blown away by this conversation, man. I told you guys part 2 is going to be something special. I hope you guys have truly enjoyed the conversation. I definitely have enjoyed you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Mike, brother, we definitely appreciate you for stopping by and tapping in with us one more time, man, and definitely sharing the gems and dropping the knowledge on us, man. We definitely appreciate it.
Anytime, brother.
Real quick, let the people know where they can follow and tap in with you at.
Man, you know, I ain't big on this social media thing. I do what I can, but everything is Mike Blayz at MikeBlayz. That's all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, everything Mike Blayz. So, you know, and you know, we're definitely gonna get some things popping this year with the clothing line, with the label, Black Storm and myself with the management company, and we're just gonna try to do implement a whole lot of different avenues, man, and venues and ventures to push the culture forward, man. So we try to get out here and do some stepping for a little while.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, guys, there you have it. This has been episode 209 of Independent Scene Podcast. I definitely want to say thanks to my special guests for tapping in with us. Thanks to all the people. Thanks to everybody that tapped in with us tonight. And I look forward to seeing you guys next on another edition of Independent Scene Podcast. I'm your host, Honcho J. We out, guys.